Hey everybody, Blue Ridge Rider, welcome back to the channel. Today we're outside of Tryon, North Carolina, getting ready to ride Highway 176 from Tryon, North Carolina up to Saluda, North Carolina. The locals call this Saluda Grade. Hope you enjoy the video. If you do, please like and subscribe. Come join us for a ride up the Saluda Grade. We're just outside of Tryon, North Carolina right now, headed up the Saluda Grade. This is one of our favorite roads. I would say you need to be careful, keep an eye out for North Carolina's finest. They do patrol this road pretty heavily. But again, it's a really great place to ride. There are a couple of things that I want to point out on our way up, and I like to break this road up into 4 sections. But right off the bat, we're in section 1, and one of the things that you need to be on the lookout for is water in the road. So there's one place where we've got a wet weather spring right about this area. Right now it's marked with some white arrows on the road. It does stay wet, but occasionally it dries up. Today it's dried up. I kind of am a little careful after I go through that water to dry my tires off. Hit a nice little section here of some twisties, but before you get there, you've got a couple of bridges that you got to go across. This is probably one of the few areas along the Saluda Grade that's congested. So right here we come across a couple of bridges. When you cross the first bridge, you'll notice the entrance to a hiking trail or a swimming hole. And there's usually always people piled up there, parked there, people walking across the road, all that kind of stuff. So you saw a couple of cars there on the left. Usually the little parking lot there on the right is full of cars. And then you cross over the second bridge, and once you do that, it's on. You start hitting a nice little run of twisties. Just on the other side of the twisties, you come to the first passing zone on the Saluda Grade. There's a couple of places where on the uphill side, you've got 2 lanes. I always try to pick a lane and stay in it because you never know when another bike might be coming up behind you and trying to pass you. I've seen some people get a little wide and kind of treat it like it's one big wide lane, but I would advise staying on one side or the other. I usually like to stay in the left lane. And this is kind of finalizing up what I call section 1, and then section 2 happens right after that first passing zone. You really get into some nice tight twisties, and they can catch you a little bit off guard on a couple of them, but for the most part they're just nice swoopy kind of long S-turns. You've got passing zones. It makes it feel really friendly, really fast. That's one of the reasons that we really like it, is just that feel of the 2-lane wide going up the mountain. This is kind of the heart of the run right here. This is where all the really nice turns are. So right here is this big obvious intersection. That's where section 3 kind of starts in my mind. And the curves here are a little different. You do still have a passing zone, but they're just a little, it's hard to explain till you get on them, but they feel a little different. A lot of them are kind of surprising. Even though I've been on them many times, I'm always surprised at how tight some of the turns are. In particular, as you finish section 3, which is kind of where I'm at right now, and as you start section 4, the very first curve
as you enter section 4, coming down the mountain, wraps up pretty tight. And if you're not ready for it or paying attention, it can catch you off guard. But at the same time, it is probably one of my favorite curves on the entire road. And here we are cresting out right now, the top of the grade, starting down, and here's that turn I just talked about. Really, really nice turn. Now we're entering into what I like to think of as section 4. You can see here the speed limit drops to 35. As you enter downtown Saluda, the speed limit is going to drop down to 20 miles an hour. You've got to be really careful if you're not paying attention and you happen to be speeding through this area and got a ticket. That would be a really big ticket because the speed limit is so low. Right now we just entered the Saluda town limits. We're coming up on the very first restaurant, Outfitter on the left. It's called Saluda Outfitters. They've got a nice food truck, usually a band playing on Friday and Saturday nights. Got a couple little outdoor accessories if you're into whitewater kayaking or anything like that. And then just a little bit farther down the road is one of my favorite places in this side of town, which is Green River Adventures. They rent kayaks to go paddle the lower Green River. It's a really nice section of mostly Class 2 rapids with one, I think, Class 3 rapid called Big Corky. One of our favorite places to go paddle. We love to get out the kayaks and just play a little bit. And here we're coming up on Green River Adventures on the left right now, and in just a moment we're going to enter downtown Saluda, and we're in downtown Saluda. So just one more mention of Green River Adventures. They offer a really cool zip line course that has, I think, 9 zip lines. They're the fastest zip lines around. They run around 65 miles an hour on the fastest one. On the other side of Asheville, there's another nice zip line course called Navitat. It's got some really cool zip lines, and I believe they've got one that's like a mile long. So that was the Saluda Grade. That's the heart of it. There's really good riding getting to the Saluda Grade. You can come through Lake Lure. A lot of really fun stuff there on Highway 9 to get you here, are all kind of back roads, including Green River Cove Road. If you want to go up something that's crazy twisty, that's a really, really nasty hairpin road. And then on the other side, coming out of Saluda, you've got some really nice curvy roads that take you right on into downtown Hendersonville. And right here is North Carolina's finest waiting for us. So we saw them as we came into town. I knew they were out today, so we ran this about, kind of a medium kind of effort. We didn't give it our all. And again, that's just one of those things you got to pay attention for, or just be on the lookout for, because nobody wants to get a ticket and ruin all your fun. So we hope you enjoyed this ride with us on the Saluda Grade. If you would, and you haven't already, please like and subscribe.